Welcome back, guys. Got an Indian Scout here. It's coming for some minor repairs and MOT, but got no rear brake. So we're going to see if we can fix that. Got a bleed bottle. We've bled this off the bike because we were struggling to get up there and it was making a hell of a mess. So we've got the piston pushed out. It does actually push the piston out when we pump it, but it doesn't build up any pressure, as you can see. If I give it some quick pumps, we'd get some little micro bubbles coming through. I've also got my diagnostic tool on there. I went into ABS if there was a pump activation, maybe the bubbles were left in the pump, but there's nothing on there. It's the ABS here. It's just a scan and delete on the faults and some live data, but no activations. So, I'm going to try something different to alleviate this system of these air bubbles. So at the end of our estate we've got an engineering shop, BTEC Engineering. Don't I make marking there, gave me this block of plastic. So what am I going to do with this plastic? Well, I'll show you. I've got my block. I need a perfectly smooth one face, so I'm just going to sand that down with some penetrating spray and some wet and dry. I don't know if you can see that, but it's all textured. So we're starting to get some smooth edges. I'm going to sand it down until the entire face is smooth. Okay, you can see the texture on this side, and you still see some in there, but it's a lot smoother than it was. I've got this connector end. This was actually a female end. I took it over to the lathe, machined the head off it, tapped it, and this is going to go on top of the block we just made. So I'm going to drill that, top that, tap that, stick that in there, and then I'll show you what we're going to do with it. Right, but you guys are wondering, right Mel, you've made this piece of crap plastic, what are you going to do with it? Well, I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with it. So this is going to sit on here, and this connector on top, which is a special connector, fits to that, which goes all the way around to that. So this is my air conditioning machine. This hasn't got air conditioning, as you can clearly see, but we have a look on here. If I go to assisted procedure, if I enter that, we have a vacuum feature there. So I'm just going to go down to vacuum. Just going to change that to 1 minute. Enter it. Right, so we got to stick both high and low pressure on there. I don't need to do that. So we've got some taps here. So I'm going to turn the high pressure off. I'm going to keep the low pressure open. I'm going to put this connector onto this. I'm not bolting this on because the vacuum should hold itself down. But what I'm going to do is I've got some grease here. I'm just going to smear the face and around the edge of the reservoir, and then hopefully the two will sort of hold themselves there, and I'll be able to create a vacuum drawing the air back up into the reservoir. Well, that's a theory anyway. What I've also done here is I've pushed the piston all the way back, because when I create a vacuum it will eventually pull that back, and what will happen is it'll bring extra fluid up here, and then it'll end up sucking it into a machine, which I don't want. So I've kept the fluid to an absolute minimum so that we can just draw any air out. Okay, both surfaces are greased. I've actually run the hose through the front of the wheel there, because the hose is quite heavy and it was drooping, which was making this twist. So hopefully it's going to be more parallel with it, and actually it's staying there quite well. Okay, let's vacuum, see what happens. So we're getting negative pressure. Just holding it on there to make sure it doesn't fall off. I actually wanted to make this out of clear perspex so we could see if any bubbles were coming out, but unfortunately black was the best I could get. So we're 30 seconds in. We've got a sight glass. I can actually see bubbles in the sight glass. Oh, sorry about the tapping noise. It's raining above our heads. Okay, vacuum is done. Our fluid level's gone down, so I'm assuming it's actually drawn the air out and replaced it with the fluid. So I'm just going to top it up and do it again. We can see some more bubbles coming. Doesn't seem to be any more. I'll let it do the full minute again. I don't need to do the leak tests, so okay. Well, that was a good vacuum there. Well, there was good suction on that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pump it until it pushes the piston out at the other end. Wow, it worked. I've got a pedal. I've got fluid squirting back. There you go, the piston's pumped out. And we actually have pedal. There you go, I brake fluid off the exhaust before it's too late. But yeah, absolutely solid. So, one Indian Scout ready for an MOT. I've got the cover back on. You can see that brake is firm now. Just going to go turn the ignition on quickly. Sorry if you can hear the background noise, but the rain's just picked up. It's really loud above our head. So, although the brake wasn't working, which would have been an MOT failure, if we follow that down to the brake caliper, you can see there's a switch on the back. This is a brake pressure switch. So when you apply the brake, it applies pressure to this switch, brings the brake lights on. So we weren't getting rear brake lights. And now we are. So we fixed one thing, but actually fixed two things. Well, we tried all sorts to bleed this brake and nothing was working. Sometimes you've got to think out of the box, try something different. This is what YouTube is about. The amount of videos on here where people are doing crazy stuff. A bit like that. I mean, who would have thought using an air conditioning machine on vacuum would have got the air out of the braking system? There are other ways of trying to get the air out. You can use a handheld one. I'm sure that would work reasonably well. But without trying it, I don't know. The thing is, we have all the tools here. We have a lathe that machines that part up for the air conditioning hose. They usually only come as a female, so I had to machine the end off, save enough on the end so I could put a thread on it. Thankfully, Mark from BTEC Engineering at the end, thank you Mark, gave me the piece of plastic. Without it, I wouldn't have been able to make the tool really. It would have been difficult, but I'm sure I would have found something. As always, I hope you've taken something away from this video. You've enjoyed it. Please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe please, and if you like it, please share. As always, thanks for watching. Take care guys.